It's time to talk Utah State football with the head coach of the Aggies, Bronco Mendenhall, on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
He is the head coach of the Utah State Aggies, Bronco Mendenhall, coming off a bye week. And, Coach, I've not asked you this before. We've done a bunch of interviews, but I know you focus solely on you and your program, but on a weekend where there's a lot of crazy things that happen in the conference, do you do a lot of scoreboard watching, especially on a bye week, to kind of see how the rest of the conference is faring?
Yeah, I checked the scoreboards. I'm not sure it was a lot, but I absolutely paid attention. And I think, you know what, maybe the outside world is calling crazy. I think probably the coaches in the league are thinking more expected because the margins are so thin, the teams are so close. A player or two, the loss of a quarterback, a turnover here or there, and a team that has momentum, maybe like New Mexico, and goes and beats UNLV, and Fresno goes and beats Boise, and San Jose, which we all know is dangerous and capable. Hawaii comes across to the mainland and loses there. If you consider the team we're playing this week, Nevada, the number of close losses, which is really seems like every week, a turnover here or there, and most coaches would be not surprised if they were, their record was stronger. And so literally the parity from my perspective, and probably most of the league would say, man, I'm not so surprised when from the outside it looks like, wow, what's happening?
No, it's incredible. And I'm just looking at it, 6 teams right now in the Mountain West Conference with 2 losses. And then you got Boise State with 1 and San Diego State sitting up there at 4-0. But it does feel like this conference is all jumbled. It's all mixed up. And now it starts with the Nevada Wolfpack for you guys. So talk a little bit about it, Coach, just the preparation. How did you feel in the time that you did have with the team? How did you feel the preparation went? And how do you feel like the team health is coming along?
Yeah, really took a different approach and sensed the team needed it, not only physically but mentally. The New Mexico game was tough on the head coach, myself, obviously, but also it was tough on the team. We didn't play the way we wanted to play, and so there's some physical and mental recovery that needed to happen. And so really, myself and the coaches were recruiting, but we stayed really had some separation from the players. So they were with the strength staff. They were with the trainers. They were independently coming up and meeting and reviewing film. The staff that wasn't recruiting, all kinds of analysis through 8 weeks to make the improvements necessary in our program. And so today really is the first chance the team will hear from me moving forward for the month of November. And they've worked really hard. I love my team. And they've earned the chance for every game being a meaningful game in November. And so now it's just really to focus on one specific opponent at a time. With the better we do, man, the more magical the season could finish. And so it really is wide open. And I think it's wide open in the conference, but it's also similar for our team and how we finish.
As a coach, when you're coming off a loss like that to New Mexico, I know that your initial thought would be, I want to get these guys back as quickly as possible and work and figure out these issues and really get, your nose to the grindstone. But then you also have to realize that, wait a minute, we're at a part of season where we need to rest. We got to have that mental capacity to be able to handle the final stretch of the season. How do you kind of juggle that as a coach?
Man, I relied a lot on experience and a lot just intuitively as I look at my team, the body language, the demeanor, and just the tone. Same with our staff. And there are times like our first bye where it was as if we were playing that week, and it was just relentless in terms of the work. And that's what I believed the team needed at that time. This is much different as you frame a 4-game finish, all conference opponents, all with obviously high stakes. And then just really the health, both mentally and physically, of the team after that game really took the exact opposite approach. So lots of just kind of having your finger on the pulse of the team through the relationships. And that didn't mean asking them. It just means assessing and paying attention. And most of the time, I've been fairly accurate with that and what the team really needs. I can't say I've been 100%, but it's really what I thought was best in this case.
You got a heck of an offensive line coach in Mario Acatelli, and I know he takes a lot of pride in what he does up front. And this offensive line at times has struggled. They've struggled with health. They've struggled with assignment. They've struggled at times with being able to pick up their blocks. Just talk about this offensive line, Coach. Your belief in them, maybe Mario's adjustments, their health, and what you expect kind of in the finishing stretch here with them.
Yeah, it's been a work in progress from the very beginning. We've all seen that from the UTEP game all the way through. And so there's bits and pieces where we've chipped away and reduced sacks and reduced penalties and had more efficient and consistent runs and protection. And there's been games where there's been stretches where it's been reverted and we've seen sacks and penalties and maybe some of the other. And so there's been some inconsistency there. Yet the inconsistency is through diligence and belief and confidence and coaching. And so it's really a unique thing to try to express because there's momentum being built through the approach. And at some point and at some time there's a tipping point where it actually takes root and it manifests and it holds at a higher level. We haven't hit that yet. The work is being put in. And so there's been an injury or two. There's been some inconsistencies there. But really, it just is coming down to the fundamentals, the execution, the assignments, and then the consistency of doing it. And we're still chasing that down, as everyone can see.
Bronco Mendenhall, head coach of Utah State, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big one for Utah State as they take on Nevada. And, Coach, I'm sure the message is, look, you may have a Nevada team that win-loss record may not be where they want to be, but after what we saw this weekend and looking at their games individually and the close losses they've had, it's got to have guys queued up and ready to go, I would imagine.
It's how come their record is what it is. And so there's been turnover issues they've had, especially in the end zone and or the red zone, which is really interesting. But that's probably affected 1, 2, or 3 losses. But the scoring, the type of defense they're playing, they're able to run the football. They're very clear in what they want to do. There's just been some turnovers that have been in the way. So our team, there's no issue with our opponent isn't good or their record. I mean, the record really is irrelevant because they're watching the film and they're like, oh, okay. And they look just like the other teams we've been playing. And so the perception is maybe Boise is better. Maybe I don't know, UNLV or Fresno, and then Nevada will play them, and it looks dead even, right to the end. And so that really is where college football is. There's so much parity, and this month, really the rankings now, probably this week, are for the first time relevant at all. Until then, it's just interesting. But right now, the rankings become, probably relevant. And then they're probably not going to be accurate either 3 weeks from now. So it's just the month of November is really what you battle to get to with meaningful games and in a position to do something positive with your team. I think we are in that position, certainly with a lot of work to do and for 4 conference games. And with, as Hans was pointing out, right, some inconsistencies that have to be addressed as fast as possible. And all I can say from my team's perspective, the optimism, hope, work ethic, unity, all the things culturally that you'd like to see at practice and going on that's exactly where we are, which gives you a great chance to keep improving.
Coach, I just wanted to get one kind of touch-up update from Ike Larson. Now played in 3 games, had some really nice breakups against San Jose State. I know he's done his job in what it seems every statistical category. How has he been through the bye week, and how much do you feel like you can lean on him through this remainder of the stretch here?
Yeah, I'm proud of what Ike has done from the suspension and then the return. He's been a positive influence on our team, not only in what he says, but what he does. He's playing good football. He's encouraging his teammates. He's doing everything to be in great standing on our football team. And so I'm proud of him. I'm encouraged about the growth that I see. And for all of us, right, that's every week that we're relied on to do that. But to this point, he's done a really nice job. And again, I'm proud of him. And a lot of football to play, a lot of meaningful football. And so hopefully his continued trajectory is just, we'll keep enhancing. And that's, but it's gratifying as a leader to see young people take advantage of maybe learning opportunities and setbacks and make the most of them, which to this point he is.
Coach, appreciate your time as always.
Great
Thanks
stuff.
for joining us, and look forward to chatting with you on the Coaches Show on Wednesday.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you all later.
There he is, Bronco Mendenhall, head coach of Utah State.